Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to be showing you how you can make the subject of an image stand out by adding only color to the subject, and we're going to make the background black and white. So to do this, we're going to be using this image that we've used in a couple of previous videos. We've removed a blemish from the subject's face. We've enhanced the vibrance of the image using a couple of different methods in some other videos. But in this video, what I want to do is just remove all of the color from the background, but leave her in color, since she's the subject of the image. So what we're going to do is we're going to, first of all, let me give credit to the photographer that posted or that gives us this image. I got it from pexels.com, and the link to the image is in the description of this video. So the first thing we're going to do to continue moving forward with what we're doing here is we're going to come over here and we're going to right click on the layer that has the image on it, and we're going to duplicate that layer. Duplicate layers, it's right here. You can see there's a shortcut key, Shift Control D. So we click that, and now we have an exact copy of the image on top of the same image. So we have two versions. This top one, what we want to do is we want to come up here and we want to go to colors, and you could go hue saturation, or you could do brightness contrast. I'm going to use, you could use saturation. I want to do, let's just do saturation first. You'll get this dialog box that pops up, and you can take this scale slider and just take it down to 0, and that drains all of the color out of the image. So that's one way you can do it, and I won't save that. But you can also come up here to colors and go to hue and saturation, and you can remove the saturation completely, just like we did before. But this also allows you to adjust the lightness of the image as well. I'm going to leave it at 0 because it doesn't really need to be changed. We've already changed it in a previous video, and we got the lightness where we want it. So I'm just going to lock that in. We've drained out all the color, and click OK. And so now we have an image, a black and white image over the top of a color image. And now what we want to do is we want to add a layer mask to this top one. So I'm going to right click on the top one, and I'm going to click Add Layer Masks. When I click that, it's going to ask me, well, what kind of a mask do you want to add? Well, I want to add a full transparency mask. Black, full transparency black. And I'm going to click OK. And what that does is it basically allows us to see everything under the black and white image. It allows us to see, actually let me undo that, and I'm going to add that again because I didn't point out one thing that you need to be aware of. When you click Add Layer Masks, you'll see here that you have these settings. You can go with full opacity, full black transparency, but you have this invert button, and depending on what results you get, you might need to make sure this is checked or unchecked. Watch what happens if I check it and I click Add. So you get the exact opposite. Now we're seeing everything on the top layer instead of everything in color. So depending on where you want to do the next step in this process, you'll want to either check that invert box or leave it unchecked. I want it the way that it is right now, and the reason why is because I think it'll be easier to paint the color in on her than it will be to remove the color with from the background. And that's really what we're going to do here. We're going to select the layer mask, right? So we're going to select the mask. You can select either the image or you can select the mask. And it's hard to tell which one's selected, but you'll see this white bounding box around the image if the image part is selected. But I want the mask, so I want to make sure that that has the bounding box, which is hard to see in this case. But I want to make sure the bounding box is around the layer mask. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to change to my brush tool, not the airbrush tool, but the brush tool, the paintbrush. And I'm going to use a soft brush, and I'm going to, I don't know, 25 is probably okay. I'm going to take this up a little bit, maybe to 40. And then that's what I'm going to use for my brush. And now with that brush selected, I'm going to just change the size of it. And let me check it here first. I'm gonna, yeah, well, you'll have to either switch to, so you see up here we're on a white mask, so to see through the mask we want to paint with black. And if you want to increase the size of your brush, you just use your bracket keys on your keyboard. The right bracket makes it bigger. And I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to paint the parts of the image that I want to be in color. And that's basically going to be her face primarily, and we might do her hair, but her hair is black, and I don't know, depending on how much time you wanted to spend on it, you could do her face and her hair and even her shirt and shoulder. We probably will do her shirt and shoulder because her shoulder is going to be, it needs to be in color. Her hair is black, so that really you're not going to see it. You might see a little bit of difference because even though it's black, there is still some color in black. So let me zoom in here a little bit. And remember, we're not using a full 100% on this brush. We're using it at 40. So you could ramp it up to, and I'm going to ramp it up to 100 and show you the difference, which is not very much different. So 40, I was holding it down long enough that it was getting to the full. Take this back down because I'm going to go even lower when we start doing her hair, if we do her hair. So you can see down here at her shirt, see how black and white has no color in it at all, but when we paint over it, it's actually got some blue in it. That's what I was talking about with the blacks are going to be the same way. If I come up here and just touch the black, well, you really can't really see a whole lot of difference. Her hair's got a little bit of blue in it too, so we may do most of her hair, but I'm going to adjust the size of this because I want to get down here on these edges, but I don't want to. And you can just paint, it's just like you're painting it in, but really what you're doing is you're not painting at all, you're just hiding or revealing what's underneath the black and white copy. And everywhere where I'm going with the brush, I'm just saying, hey, let this show the bottom part, the bottom image, the bottom layer, whatever you want to call it. Just let me see everything that's under this part that I'm painting. And you basically just go through here with your paintbrush tool, and you paint in the colored, you paint in the areas that you want to be in color. And when you get to parts like this, you can do large portions of the image with a bigger brush. You just have to use the small brush for the edges that you don't want to apply, or in this case, see what we're doing is we're hiding the part of this black and white image that the mask is showing as black. We're basically hiding that so that the bottom one shows through. And I'm going to come down here and take the brush down to smaller and smaller as I get closer to the edge of the part that we want to show through. And of course, the more time you take and the more patience you have and the more deliberate you do this, the better it's going to look. I'm just doing this to show you how the tool works. I'm trying to do a good job, but I realize you don't want to sit here and watch me do all of this. You want to basically get the idea of how the tool works, and then you want to go use it on the image that you're that you're going to operate on. So I'm just doing a quick version of this, and I will adjust now that I've got a boundary there. That should help. And you know how hard your hardness and your force on your brush is what's going to allow you to make the color adjustment. Well, in this case it's not really a color adjustment, you're just removing part of the mask. So now we've got her shoulder and her face. We could do her hair. Let me just show you what that would look like if we did. I'm probably not going to do all of it, but you see how her hair, even though it's black, it does have color in it. So I'm not going to do all of this that's out here because you can't really see a whole lot of, well, let me just see. I'll demonstrate for you how you can, you know, when you're doing this technique, you can come over here and do it on an area that shows through. But let's say you don't like how that looks. Maybe you think, oh, my brush was too big, I wanted a smaller brush. What you would do is just, you can, since you're painting with black and white up here, you can just hit your X key and it will flip them. And now you can paint with white to undo what you just did with the black. And then you would just make your brush smaller. Like let's say we wanted to come in here and do this, and then we would make sure we're set to black because we're painting with black now. We want to see the color, and then you would just come in here and you'd get a lot more deliberate with where you're actually painting the black. Right, so you would just do that. But like I said before, there's not a whole lot of color that is visible in her hair. So I think for me, for the demonstration for this video, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to not get into all that detail, and I'm just going to do the large parts, the main part of her hair where you can actually see the color. I'm just going to paint that, let the color show through the bottom on that part of her hair, so that you do get some of the color benefits without having to, you don't have to sit here and watch me, and I don't have to take all of your time going through and painting all these fine little details of where her hair is, when we can just do the large parts and you get the idea. So now what we've done is we have put even more focus on the subject, because now she's the only thing that's in color. The background is now, and you can do this same effect. You can do it with, you can do this layer mask with a bunch of different effects. For example, let's say we wanted to apply only to the image part of this. Let's say we want to apply a blur. Let's put a filter on the blur, or let's put a blur filter on the back. We'll put a Gaussian blur on this, but watch what happens. Because we have a mask on this layer, the only thing that's going to get blurred is the background, the part that's in black and white. So if I ramp this up, I can blur that out a lot. Now it's bleeding over into her hair, right? But you get the idea. I exaggerated it just to show you what it does. But you get the idea here, you know, and the blur is going to affect, you know, everything that doesn't have the mask on it. And because we didn't do all of her hair, see, now if we wanted to leave that blurred that much, we could go back and paint on that mask some more and make more of her hair visible, just like you see down here. See this little part? That's the part that I actually removed the mask on. So the mask is not getting blurred. Only the parts that are white on the mask are what gets blurred. So the idea here is you can use this technique to add color. You can use it for blurring effects. You can use it to see through one layer down to another layer like we're doing here. But the idea is that you can use multiple layers, and you can use these effects to, and the layer masks will allow you to control what part of the image the effect is being used on. So I hope I didn't confuse that here at the end by showing you how you can use it with different effects. Maybe I'll do a different video that shows you how you can use the blur effect and then cancel it out with a mask, or maybe I'll do one with some color. But you can see here what we've done. We have allowed the main subject of our image to be in color, but we've made the background, the part that we don't want to focus on, we've made it black and white. So that's how you can distinguish a foreground using color from a background that's black and white in GIMP, and by using layer masks. I hope that helps, and thanks for watching.